Now, let's move to that. The Labour Party they've been having this issue, this controversy since after the election, and in fact, the controversy started during the presidential election. Actually, that season, that was the genesis of the whole thing, and it culminated into this nonsense that we are getting. I don't know. Did you follow? Did you follow what happened at the meeting? Everything that happened, the decision they made or whatever. So what I'm trying to find out from you as a lawyer, are they on the right? No, Abure has been. They have constituted a kind of ad hoc committee headed by Nady Usman to actually pilot the leadership of the Labour Party for now. As a result of that, Abure has been ousted. So doing that, obviously, it has been factional. This obvious that it's been factionalized because the leadership of Abure now they are all actually blazing with fire and brimstone right now, and they don't, of course, they disagree, and and even the executive members too are coming to criticize and call Nady Usman names that she wasn't even registered as a ward member from her ward, as a party member from her ward, going down to our that is her name is not there or whatever. So why would she be the one? So, Barrister, what is your take on all these dynamics?
What I know is that in the first place, since the death of the former chairman, Abdul Kadir Abdul Salam,
yeah,
and who died in 2020, and the elevation of Abure, who was the national secretary of the party, to the leadership, which coincided with the emergence of the obedient movement into the labor. Crisis upon crisis have taken over the Labour Party. We have talked about it on this platform a couple of times.
Yeah.
The court cases, the factionalization, all. Now, this meeting that was held in Umuahia was tagged as NEC, that is National Executive Council, an expanded stakeholders meeting. It was the governor of Abia, Oti, was actually the host, but it was chaired by Peter Obi. And they gave reasons which ordinarily make sense. Number one, they said there is a Supreme Court judgment that said the tenure of Abure-led executives expired in June 2024, meaning that he is no longer the legitimate chairman of Labour. They also say that in one instance, INEC called a meeting of party leaders and did not invite Abure. And Abure get crashed into the meeting, but they had to be removed. They had to excuse him. The third reason was that as of now, you know, the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in Edo State and in Ondo State,
yes,
Labour Party has no party agents.
yes,
Because INEC rejected the list of party agents submitted by Abure. So on the basis of that, they dissolved Abure-led National Executive. Remember that Abure and his associates were not in that meeting. They did not attend the meeting.
Yeah.
Then Nady Usman, a 29-member caretaker committee was headed by Nady Usman. The question of the legality of this committee in Nigeria, politics is more practical than legal. Yeah. In any party, you find that the strong men of the party always get away with whatever they want. The people financing the party, the people who are the stakeholders, always get away with it. In the Labour Party, Peter Obi is there, Governor Oti is there. Those are the people who, and other critical stakeholders were also there. Those are the people who actually hold the party. As to the legality of the meeting, every party, including an association, has a provision for requisitioning a meeting where the executives fail to call a meeting. Because I believe that Abure-led executives did not sanction this meeting. But if the people who promoted the meeting had requisitioned it in accordance with the Constitution, then it is legal and valid. So whether the national executive call a meeting or not, if it is properly requisitioned by a certain number of people
So
of the
what
party.
you are saying now is the Nady Usman committee or ad hoc executive now is legitimate.
I made a caveat that if the meeting was requisitioned in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution, then it is a legitimate meeting and the outcome also becomes legitimate.
No, why I am asking is because after that meeting, I had someone actually criticized that and called and said that that Peter Obi and co who did that, they actually aired. That was that it is illegal, and that brings it at the end of the day, it's going to make the whole system messy, sort of. So, and that was what brought my interest to that, because the truth is, Abure, I expected what's his name? This is one of the things, one of the points Kenneth Okonkwo made in his open letter to about Peter Obi when he was pulling out of his surrogacy. So the thing is, this Abure thing has been on for a very long time, and that was the point this guy made. He expected Peter Obi to have pulled away from Abure, because his leadership has been based on the platform of corruption. Has been corrupted, and so many allegations left, right, and center. And besides, just like you quoted earlier, that Abure, the Supreme Court, already his leadership had been nullified. I think was it you said 2 years ago or thereabout. So, but anyway, now my own point is someone already criticized that. So, and the person who criticized that actually is an obedient, someone very, very who is an ardent supporter of, and he was actually criticized Obi for being part of that, part of that. So I don't know. I thought I'll actually get the legal angle of a definitive opinion on this, on the legal matter.
Well, like I said, I will not be privy to the whole fact, but what I can say is that a proper meeting of the party can only be called by the proper organs of the party. In the absence of the organs like the National Executive summoning a meeting, the members can requisition a meeting. Those are two ways to call a meeting. Because if a meeting is not legitimately called, the outcome cannot be legitimate. So I am not sure whether they followed the constitutional prescription by requisitioning a meeting. Where the chairman refused to do so, they can convey such a meeting. But like I said, politics in Nigeria, even party leadership, is more practical than legal. Once the stakeholders, once the powers that be within the party intrigue and come up with something, you will find that it becomes a de facto it becomes de facto legitimate. Whether litigations will come up later or not, for now, Nady Usman will continue to pilot the affairs of the party because there is an overwhelming power in the party behind her.
Yeah, behind her.
Now, let me also mention the issue of Kenneth Okonkwo criticizing Peter Obi for not pulling away from Abure. I think he's not being very fair to him to an extent, because remember, Abure was fighting up to the election, and after Abure was fighting what's the name again? That other man, They were fighting
Arabambi, right?
Arabambi and co. And they were rabid anti-Obi faction then.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have done good for Obi to intervene and pull away from
No, that was during election. No, when he said after the election, after the president, the pulling away should have been even recently. That is during the time they organized this the National Executive Council meeting when they re-elected Abure. Was it 2 or 3 months ago? 3 months or thereabout ago that they re-elected Abure. That was since then. After that, he expected Obi to actually to have pulled out away from Abure because that election was a sham. INEC was not even there to supervise it. So what makes it legal? So why should Obi continue to hobnob with him?
Apparently, Obi had pulled away from him, but that manifested in the last NEC meeting where Abure was officially removed. I think it is a process. He may not have come out then to say, okay, this man is legitimate or not. I think you need a period of consultation, of marshalling the stakeholders of the party to come up with what they did in the...
Yeah, but my point, I think his point is it. I understand what you're saying. Like, Obi is someone who wants to actually go through this process, be very sure, go listen to everyone, whatever. But what he was saying, which I agree with him, is this. Now, there are situations where there are situations that are so drastic that you need to take drastic action or decision at that point. There are times there are things you don't really, there are situations that necessitates you taking action immediately instead of waiting because if you wait and try to say, let me go through this process and find out the reality or whatever, before you exhaust that process, before you exhaust the chain in that process, the entire system the entire issue must have crumbled. So that was his point, sort of. Now, and this is politics, for God's sake. And Obi is someone, an insider. There are the situation, what he felt is, look, there are things you don't need actually to go through the process to. There are things that you can actually, through phone, call this person, ask this person or whatever, and based on what you already know on ground, because he actually literally piloted the Labour Party during the 2023 election season. So he knows everything. So he wasn't totally new to the system. So I don't know, all the allegations and the counter allegations against Abure and other things or whatever, the illegal things that were done, it couldn't have taken that much time for you to actually define where you are, because all these things are things that have actually rubbished Peter Obi. Because literally, I keep telling people this thing. I said Peter Obi is no longer, okay, I think you and I agree on that. Peter Obi is no longer as popular as he was. Honestly, his popularity has waned. It has diminished. And it's still diminishing. I keep telling people it will keep diminishing. Peter Obi, I bet you, if Peter Obi come back in 2027 to re-elect, to recontest, I am telling you, Peter Obi will not garner that kind of votes again. He will not garner that kind of support. He will not garner that trendy support from the youth, especially. Many people are disappointed at him, including myself. And that is one of the points that this Kenneth Okonkwo made in his letter. I've made this point long before that letter came out. I've been making it since after the election. So people felt disappointed. People felt this man didn't actually fight for them. And Kenneth Okonkwo, we off record, we talked, because we talked about this thing. He was actually expecting the same thing I was expecting from him, from Peter Obi. He was actually saying that because I asked him, I said, did you expect him to have done something extraordinary other than going to the court? He said, yes, of course. Of course. And that's exactly what I have been saying or whatever. When this thing happened, when INEC announced this result, I expected Peter Obi to not only hold a press conference to denounce that result, but for also to actually call for protest. Public protest, and announce it to be a peaceful protest. Let everyone occupy. I'm telling you, people would have obeyed. In fact, the obedient people would have they would have trooped out on the streets to actually support that. But because just like the same thing again, both of us agree on that. The problem, because I told you, I said, don't you think the reason was that Peter Obi he loves comfort, he loves his comfortable life, he doesn't want to be incarcerated, he doesn't want to go to jail, he loves that freedom, a sort of. He said yes, of course. So here we seem to be on the same page in all this Peter Obi stuff, and this is what actually frustrated him out of the cycle. A sort of. So, and that is the reality, because that is what I have noticed about this Peter Obi, and that is why he honestly, someone like that cannot go far with support, because it is evident that this man was not ready, and he is still not ready to actually stick his neck for the people. That is insincere. To me, it's not sincere enough. You are not sincere enough that you truly want to, because if you want to be the leader of the people, you have to be ready to take the bullet, for the people. You have to be ready to be incarcerated. You have to be ready to be a political prisoner. You have to be ready to even be killed for this purpose. But in the case of Peter Obi, no, he wants to get it on a platter of gold. He wants to get it through diplomacy. How can you wrest power through look, power? I don't know who is talking to that man, for God's sake. You cannot. Someone should talk sense. Push sense, actually force sense into his call. That power you cannot wrest power by diplomacy. The only way to wrest power, especially in the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian environment, the only way to wrest power is to do it the way the Tinubu did it. To run with it, grab it and run with it. Fight. You have to be aggressive. You have to fight. You cannot be a pastor, a reverend father, to wrest power from the powers that be. No one, they will not allow you, for God's sake. So diplomacy cannot give Peter Obi. So let him, honestly, 2027 is just wasting his time, because he has lost that. His popularity since after the election has waned, and is still waning. It's diminishing. That is it. And at the end of by 2027, the law of diminishing will return. Yeah? As the economists say, the law of diminishing will return in 2027 for Peter Obi. So I don't know, because okay, now in that video, Pekene Hoko made some points there. It's not part of that. The overall video. The video is a little, I think, about 16 minutes or so. I just cropped out what I need there. And truly, he made a point that sounded so germane to me. And the point is this. Now, there are legislators, people who won election on the platform of Labour Party. They are at the National Assembly. What is happening to them? Now, there are so many people, all these crazy policies that Tinubu is signing into law or pushing forward. What are those people doing? These people are pushing this whole agenda together with the Tinubu camp. That under normal circumstances, the moment there is a policy or something and a proposed enactment sent to the law, a proposed law sent to the National Assembly, what you do, a political leader calls his members in the House. Look, if it is not friendly to the people, the political leader calls them to call their attention to it. So look, none of you should support that bill. And they will listen to him. But in the case of Peter Obi, no one is listening to him. The Labour Party members in the National Assembly, they are all playing to the gallery, playing together, sharing money and sharing whatever. They are as corrupt as the ruling party as well. Because, there was a time Donald Trump even does that. That's exactly because you have to exude power, the power of a party leader, the power to be able to call your members to order, the power that will make your members that will actually project you into someone that they can listen to, they can respect, and they can fear, not just respect, because politicians, if you want to be a leader, they have to fear you as well. They have to, apart from respect, they have to fear. In fact, when it comes to power, power, people rather you fear them than respect them. That's what people who are crazy, they rather you fear them than respect them. I remember Donald Trump did it some time ago when the National Assembly, the House of Rep, wanted to pass, I've forgotten what law was that or whatever. And immediately, this is what a party leader does. This is how you know how strong a party leader is. Immediately, Donald Trump just sent a message on social media that they should kill that bill. And what happened? The bill was killed. The Republicans killed the bill. And that's exactly what happened. That's what a political leader does. If you're a political leader, you should learn, you should exude the power to control. You should demonstrate the power to control your members. So, and that's exactly, that's the point. But Peter Obi does not have this. Atiku, neither does Atiku himself. Atiku, who is a whatever of politics in all his life, he's been a politician. Even Atiku himself, PDP member, the same thing. They are all playing to the gallery too. Even Atiku does not even have that either. Barrister.
What to an extent, we agree with each other. Remember, when I expressed my support for Obi, it was qualified.
Yes.
I was never one of the people who gave him, who were sure that he was 100% the leader Nigeria needs.
Yeah.
But I qualified it with two things. Number one, as between him and the two candidates he was contesting with, I felt he was better. Number two, I said that if Peter Obi should come and do certain things, demystify the governance, set the governance on a positive trajectory, I will regard it as an outstanding success. I didn't expect more than that from him. Because one, he's not a decisive leader. He's not a Mandela. He's not a Murtala Muhammad.
Correct.
He's not a revolutionary leader.
Yeah, correct.
So I qualified my success. I gave him, if he could do a few things to reposition Nigeria, not even to make decisive or expansive success, I will still give him a pass mark, excellent pass mark. That was the level of my support because I saw him as not somebody who will lead the kind of movement that will liberate Nigeria. I just saw him within the context of the three people he was contesting with, 2 or 3 people he was contesting with. As against them, he was better. And also what he has done in Anambra. Now, coming to the Labour Party members in the National Assembly, there are 2 issues. Apart from the fact that he is not a domineering personality, the formation of the Labour Party or the entry of the obedient movement into the Labour Party was too sudden and too soon. In that atmosphere, those who were there to contest on the platform of the Labour Party, the obedient people, were not properly vetted. People saw the mass appeal of Obi and felt that that platform will succeed. So they came into it to contest, particularly in the Southeast and elsewhere. So it was an appeal, but they were not obedient at heart. They only thought of a platform because if you are contesting election in Nigeria, you go to the party that will win, you believe will win election. So people go there, but ideologically, they feel nothing attached to that party. So the Labour Party members who contested were not vetted as obedient members. Then the leader of the party himself does not have the domineering character and stature to whip them into line. So in the normal Nigerian way, there is no difference between the Labour Party members of the Senate and House of Reps than any other person. The Nigerians have not seen the difference. Yeah. And that itself is going to diminish Peter Obi because he has come with a movement who has elected people who are no different from the corrupt people that we are shouting against. So to that extent, his popularity is going to diminish. The respect people have for him is also going to diminish. as long as he's not able to pull these people, whip them into line, make them show the difference, that we attract other Nigerians and say, look, we have a different movement. We have people. There's no difference.
Yeah.
They collected the 160 million naira cars that
Yeah, that's it.
they bought.
Of course.
They bought for the members of the House of Reps.
Yeah.
They are collecting the jumbo allowances, unconscionable allowances that are being given to them. There's nothing to distinguish them from the corrupt politician, the average corrupt Nigerian politician. So he has no selling point with members of his party who are in government. He has none. So that is a minus, a big minus for him. So people should understand his capacity. They are limited. But you know, when the movement came up, a lot of people were over the moon about Obi, but I was cautious, and I didn't expect an overwhelming success from him. I just put a benchmark very low, that if he should meet that, I will give him a pass mark.
Yeah, you're right. I believe all of us supported him. I remember then we talked about it. We supported him, of course, because he was the better option. In fact, far better option. Far. In fact, going by his antecedents or his record when he was the governor of Anambra State, nobody. I still rate that man. His 8 years as a governor in Anambra State as the best governor. I don't know if that you have the same thing in mind, that he was actually going by his record. I don't think there's any governor, both military and civilian government, that actually performed the way Peter Obi performed. This is a man. He has so many records, and an impeccable record. Nobody does that. Somebody who never enriched himself with the power, with the public. He's the only one that did that. It's sort of okay. There are so many other military people who didn't enrich themselves, but when it comes to some of them didn't enrich themselves, but they didn't walk that way. Just like Hamid Ali, they didn't enrich themselves, but they didn't walk. They didn't do anything. It's sort of. But yeah, he didn't enrich himself. And he worked so tirelessly. He performed a whole lot, so that he broke so many records. Sort of. So that is just it. But eventually, like you said, he is not that leader that we really crave or yearn for. He's not revolutionary. He's not the guy is not honestly, I didn't see this part of him then. I saw the sign during that election. I saw the sign of it. I was critical of it, but not strongly critical of that. When the moment someone attacks him or criticizes him, the next thing he does is to book an appointment to go visit the person. Book an appointment if he's a public dignitary, a public figure. He wants to go see. The next thing, give you 2 or 3 days, you hear Peter Obi has visited so person, and they have discussed. And the same thing happens or whatever. He was visiting everyone that criticized him. The public figure, any public figure that criticized, the next thing he visits the person. And the ones that he could not visit or whatever, he was so there's one word I wanted. I forgot it. There's a word that is called. I'm trying to that really fits what he does. That's just escaped my mind. Honestly, was the signs I saw then. But after the election, he just exhibited the entire his personality, who he truly is, which is an extremely disappointing situation, honestly. And for those of you who still support him, honestly, I don't. No, there are several reasons why I don't. There are two problems with the 2027 election. In fact, in the first place, that 2027, that is if the military allow. Oh my God, Tinubu! If we allow Tinubu to finish these 4 years, not to talk of 8 years, if we allow Tinubu, Nigeria and Nigerians will be so beaten. Will be so beaten beyond recognition. So, my own prayer, I have always prayed, I keep praying that one military courageous military team will just come one day and I just turn on my radio or my television and I see Nigeria as a coup has taken place. Honestly, that is my fervent prayer to God every day. Because I just can't imagine a Tinubu presidency being extended to another 2.5 more years. Not to even talk of another extra 4 years, making it 8 years to put together. Hey, Nigeria will be done. We dare not allow that. We dare not allow that. So that is one. Then the second one is, if we eventually get to that 2027 election, just like we all noted, if Tinubu could do it, pull what he did off in 2023, when he was outside government. What about then, now that he is the president and commander-in-chief of the military, the police, the paramilitary, the everything, the entire forces? And not just that, the entire institution of government, including the institution of INEC, he pulled that out with INEC, even outside, when he was outside. Now that he's the one in charge of INEC, appointing all his cronies around or whatever. So what do we expect? So I honestly, 2027 is so bleak. Honestly, 2027 is shrouded with a whole lot of, so pregnant that is, in fact, this pregnancy itself, no scan, no scan, no, what do you call it? Yes, scan, no scan can be able, no X-ray or scan can be able to actually identify or define what will happen in 2027. 2027, the pregnancy is just so shrouded in a cloud of uncertainties that no one can really predict what will happen there, because I don't know, 27. May God keep us alive, because it's going to be going to be a very, very precarious year for Nigeria and Nigerians, honestly.